welcome to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, the budget session of Parliament is on, and we've seen his return to politics back as usual. We've seen the farmers' issues have made it to the House, whether the government wants it or not. Rahul Gandhi made it a point to bring it up during his budget address. We've also seen the Prime Minister play this tightrope walk between Andolan GVs and Andolankaris, trying to say whether he's for the protesters or against it. It's up for you to make that out. And of course, there's been a whole lot of other politics. There's been also the resignation of Ghulam Nabi Azad as his term is finally over. We saw the farewell that was sent to him by the Prime Minister. It was a very emotional farewell. But of course, being Modi, there was also politics behind it. Is he praising someone who's finally declared himself to be a rebel against the Gandhi family? So we're taking into account the buzz of the week on the roundtable today. Joining us is Radhika Ramaseshan. She is a consulting editor with Business Standard and also columnist for the Mumbai Mirror. Rashid Kidwai, author, 24 Akbar Road, and a familiar face on TV channels. Ashutosh, he is the editorial director at satyahindi.com. And Nirmal Pathak, she is the editor at PTI Bhasha. So Rashid, a lot has been happening, but two things I really want you to begin with, really. One was, Rahul Gandhi's speech, I think, yesterday. What did you make of it in Parliament, his intervention on the budget? But actually he began, it was full of drama being Rahul Gandhi. Now we've come to expect some drama from him also. Your first takeaway on Rahul's speech?
I think Rahul Gandhi is working hard and for that matter with a sense of purpose to become a leader of the party. He is in a way a de facto leader of Congress party. But I think June onwards when Congress organizational elections will take place, he is pitching himself as a leader. Already the Delhi Congress unit as well as Chhattisgarh Congress unit have passed a resolution seeking Rahul Gandhi's appointment. So I think as far as the leadership issue is concerned, Rahul's name is, appears to be settled. Second thing is that Rahul is trying very hard to make himself heard. The opposition, the way, I'm talking about the government, the way Anurag Thakur and Smriti Irani, took on him, and the kind of social media handles, that onslaught that took place, it shows that Rahul is perhaps doing something right as a leader of opposition or as a leader of Congress party. You can find faults with him. You can find, problem with his articulation, problem of, his misplaced aggression, a lot of things. He didn't speak like a parliamentarian, but this is what it is, good optics. I remember both principal players, Mr. Modi as well as Rahul Gandhi, they are doing this. His performance is very well executed. Otherwise, Priya, what makes you think, why would he pick on Ghulam Nabi Azad and shower so much of praise? If we are talking about Modi as a consensus builder, then obviously by no stretch of imagination, Ghulam Nabi Azad is a leader. He was leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha. He's not, political leadership is not with him. His political career is ending. So Mr. Modi will not achieve anything by engaging Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad. If he wants to build, consensus on a broad any national issue, whether economy or security matters, he should engage Gandhis because the political leadership of Congress is with the Gandhis. Both sides are doing it, but I think Modi being Modi seems to be scoring over it. But Rahul is trying very hard.
Ashutosh, your takeaways are, both Rahul and the Modis reach out to Ghulam Nabi Azad. As Rashid pointed out in his column, Modi never reached out to him when he was abrogating Article 370. So this was politics at the end of it.
See, Priya, I think Shakespeare would have gone to shame. Shakespeare would have been very proud to write something like this, what Mr. Modi and what Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad did in the parliament. I think it was a great theater, great Nautanki in that sense. Nautanki not in the wrong sense, but in a positive sense. At times you should feel that your leaders have got some heart. At least sometimes you feel that these are also humans. And my personal belief is, and what I have been trying to understand Mr. Modi for a very, very long time, I think Mr. Modi is taking another curve to change his image, because you see his entire attire, his entire persona. He's trying to give a new shift altogether. He's wearing more softer color in that sense. His beard is getting bigger. He's trying to project himself as somebody who's a rishi, who comes from the rishi parampara in this country. So you know,
Are you
there's
trying to
a
be
lot of,
Ravindranath Tagore look-alike for Bengal elections, nahi?
no, I don't think so. I don't think it's about he trying to project himself as a Rabindranath Tagore. I think it's more subtle than what we prefer, because Modi, for somehow he realizes that in the last 6 years, and especially after 2019, after 370 and all, he has an image problem. The people have started calling him a kind of a dictator, an authoritarian, somebody like that. So I think he's trying to come out of that image, and he's trying to project himself that he's very humane. He's a very softer, and his speech, both the speech in the parliament is not very aggressive speeches, full of sarcasm. There's no doubt about it, but it is on the softer tone. So I think Mr. Modi wants to project a different image altogether, and he's very good in that. Let me tell you, he's very, very good in that. He can do that. If he wants to do that, he can do that. And so he's doing on that. About Ghulam Nabi Azad and Rahul Gandhi, I think Rahul Gandhi is Rahul Gandhi. You can't change him. And I don't think Rahul Gandhi needs to change, because Rahul Gandhi is raising issues which is very, very relevant for the country. Like, he was the first one who raised the issue of corona in the month of February. Government did not take him seriously. People tried to ridicule him. Rahul Gandhi has been taking the China issue for a very long time. And again, this morning, he had the press conference and he said, and whatever he's saying, it makes a lot of sense, because till finger 4 to finger 8, Indian army used to patrol. But if now it is understood that the Indian army will not patrol finger 4 onwards, and there will be buffer zone between finger 4 and finger 8, so India is losing ground. And as a opposition, it is Rahul Gandhi's duty to raise these issues. So I'm not saying that Rahul Gandhi is changing his image, but Rahul Gandhi is doing what as a leader of opposition, or what as a leader in opposition is supposed to do. I think he's doing a fabulous job on that. Especially Hamare, I think it's a brilliant one. It's a brilliant one. He has put the entire issue in perspective. Two people, Modi and Amit Shah and Ambani or Adani, these 4 people are ruling this country. If that is the case, then how the development will take place in this country. And he's linking with the development. That's a brilliant one.
Nirmal, हम दो हमारे दो पहले सूट बूट की सरकार. Now again he is bringing that nexus between Modi and a few corporate faces. Smart speech, smart yesterday.
देख, राहुल गांधी, ये मैं उससे एग्री करता हूँ कि राहुल गांधी जेन्युइन इश्यूज उठा रहे हैं, और जैसे कोविड वाला भी, या जो इंडिया चाइना टेंशन है उस पर हो, या फिर किसानों का मुद्दा हो, वो जेन्युइन. पर उससे आगे क्या है, ये मुझे उस पर थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. राहुल गांधी का स्टाइल जो है वो जो गुरिल्ला वॉर जैसा, कि आए कहीं से और एक फटाक से अटैक किया और उसके बाद फिर गायब हो गए. उससे आप छोटी मोटी लड़ाई तो जीत सकते हैं, पर जो बड़ी लड़ाइयां हैं वो इस तरह के गुरिल्ला वॉर में नहीं जीती जाती. ये आप सालों तक गुरिल्ला वॉर ही करते रहेंगे. तो दिक्कत वही है राहुल गांधी के साथ. ठीक है, उन्होंने कोविड पे बताया, उसके बाद किसानों का इश्यू है, या फिर इंडिया चाइना वाला है, या बजट का इश्यू है, जो भी, उसका फॉलो अप क्या है. राहुल गांधी अपनी बात को लोगों तक कितना समझा पा रहे हैं, ये सबसे बड़ा इश्यू है. पिछले 6 साल में उनकी कौन सी बात ऐसी है जो जिसके लेके लोगों को लगा हो कि नहीं, राहुल गांधी बहुत सही बात कह रहे हैं. ये हम लोगों में कहना ठीक है, कोविड पे हो या इंडिया चाइना इश्यू हो, ये एक्सपर्ट्स भी ये बातें बता रहे हैं ना. तो एक्सपर्ट्स की बात पे तो जनता जाके वोट नहीं करती है. तो एक पॉलिटिकल लीडर का काम एक अपने फेवर में पब्लिक ओपिनियन बनाने का होता है. वहां पे राहुल गांधी पूरी तरह से फेल है. न उनकी पार्टी उसमें कुछ कर रही, कोई फॉलो अप एक्शन नहीं है. कल उन्होंने लोकसभा में जो भी किया उसका, हालांकि उसके एक पार्ट से मैं उससे सहमत नहीं हूं, जो उन्होंने 2 मिनट का मौन रखने की, वो अपने सांसदों को खड़े होने के लिए कहा, वो एक मुझे नहीं लगता कि संसदीय आचरण के हिसाब से ठीक था. पर वो उनको हक है, वो कुछ भी उसमें कर सकते हैं. और जिस तरह से पिछले कुछ सालों से संसद में जो कुछ हो रहा है, उसमें वो कोई बहुत अप्रत्याशित बात भी नहीं लगती. लेकिन उसको अगर छोड़ दें आप, तो उसका फॉलो अप क्या है. आप एक दिन प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करेंगे, उसमें आपने 4 इश्यू उठाए, उसके बाद उसका कोई फॉलो अप नहीं है. तो जब तक आप अपने जो इश्यूज हैं, आपको लोग बेहतर क्यों माने, आपको दूसरे विपक्ष जो आपका विरोधी है उसको बेहतर इसलिए मान रहे हैं क्योंकि आप उससे कमजोर हैं, आप उसके जैसी अच्छी आपकी इमेज नहीं है, इसलिए दूसरा आपका फायदा उठा रहा है. तो ये काम किसका है? ये राहुल गांधी और उनकी पार्टी का है. तो वहां पे मुझे एक थोड़ा सा शक है कि ये बात कहना तो ठीक है, इस तरह से अटैक करना भी ठीक है, वो करना चाहिए अपोजिशन के लीडर को। अगर वो नहीं करेंगे तो वो सरकार की हाँ में हाँ मिलाने के लिए थोड़ी अपोजिशन पार्टी होती है। पर उससे आगे जाके आपको काम करना पड़ेगा, जो मुझे कहीं पिछले 6 साल में कहीं नहीं दिखा।
Radhika, your reactions to Rahul and of course Ghulam Nabi Azad and the speculation that it's probably Kharge who's going to become you tweeted it also, the leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha. Shouldn't they be going in for a Hindi speaking face? Because even in the Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary's Hindi is not pretty well pretty good, articulate in Hindi.
I will answer all your queries, but first on Modi's speech in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The articulation may not have been particularly combative, but when he's speaking in Parliament, he's never very combative. Of course, as Ashutosh pointed out, that it's laced with sarcasm. Having said that, I do not perceive any softness in Modi's attitude or his politics, because one is that he is still standing his ground on the farm laws. He made it very clear, although he said that the MSP was, is, and will remain. But the point is that the farmers want a legal guarantee in the act that MSP is not going anywhere. And there is no assurance from Modi or anybody else in the government. I mean, the moment Modi starts being perceived as soft, I think the BJP's core constituency might raise questions, as it is, questions were raised after, no, I didn't interrupt you, so don't interrupt me. After the January 26th siege on Red Fort, questions were raised. I mean, if you see the trolls, the bhakts, they raised questions over why the government didn't act at once against attackers or those who besieged the Red Fort. So therefore, Modi cannot afford to be seen as anything less than tough. Okay. Of course, he shed tears for Ghulam Nabi Azad, and their association does go back a long way. I mean, all that has been said as background. But obviously, he's also playing politics. He made it very clear. There was a reference to G23 in his speech. And anything to put down the Congress and the Gandhis is fair game for Modi. And that is exactly the kind of politics that he was pursuing. And somehow I felt, I mean, I may be wrong, Ghulam Nabi Azad, of course, reciprocated some of the sentiments, though he's trying to correct himself. He says that I will join the BJP only if there is black snowfall in J&K and things, hyperbole like that. But I think he did fall a little into the trap that Modi very astutely laid for him in the Rajya Sabha. Now, now to come to your question about Kharge. Of course, I mean, I would have said that it makes political sense to have someone, an LOP from the Hindi heartland. You have Digvijay Singh, but, Digvijay Singh does have an image problem, as Rashid has said in his pieces time and again. He is perceived as anti-Hindu. Though he has tried to correct that perception in recent times by contributing to the Ram Mandir and so on. But is that enough? Clearly not. He has to do a lot to rectify that part of his image. Now, apart from that, we were going through the list. There is really nobody that the Congress can have as its LOP. I mean, Anand Sharma might have been a good fit, but then now he's with the G23. So that leaves them with the South to cast about their net. And I think on a certain level, it makes sense to have Kharge, because Karnataka is one of the states where the Congress is still strong, despite losing its government. He's a Dalit. So from the northern part of Karnataka, Gulbarga. So it sort of makes sense for the Congress, I think, to go for the second best, which is Kharge, and look at the possible gains that they can get from Karnataka. Kharge was elected to the Lok Sabha. He lost the last election. So you can't dismiss him as an armchair politician. He has a mass base, all right. So I guess from that point of view, it makes sense.
We're going to take a break and come back and talk a bit more about Prime Minister's interventions also in both the houses of Parliament, but after a quick break. Hello and welcome back to the NewsX Sunday Guardian Roundtable. We are taking a look at the political buzz this week, focusing, of course, on the parliament. Rashid, before Modi's speech, I also wanted to ask you about Priyanka's, what she did yesterday, taking a dip and this whole, she's been playing a very active role outside parliament, of course, reaching out to UP. But do you see her coming, compare the brother and sister's politics?
I think Priya, Gandhis are sensing a chance. This quite over this, farmers state has spread in North India. You look at the coming round of elections, the BJP can, at best just retain Assam, unless of course they spring a surprise in Bengal. So BJP doesn't have much to, grab in this coming round of assembly elections in 5 states. The next round is about Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Goa, etc. So that's where the Gandhis are bracing for some kind of contest, because in UP they need to get their act together. At present, things stand, they're almost like zero. I don't know what kind of role Priyanka Gandhi will play. There was some talk that Priyanka may be taken off from Uttar Pradesh, but seeing her in Uttar Pradesh, that kind of activity, series of activities, I would say, it doesn't show that she wants to withdraw. She's going to fight. So I think this Gandhi sibling, Rahul and Priyanka, are going to be a lot more visible, lot more hands-on, lot more proactive. Only problem with them is that, as Nirmalji was pointing out, see, the party is not doing enough follow-up action. When you say that you're going to have so many thousands and millions of social warriors, what are the social warriors? Are the people who are already committed to Congress? Are they professionals? We do not know that they are paid. My understanding is they are not paid social warriors. Then what you're doing, that if Rahul has a sort of 1 million followers, so these are the same people coming with another name. See, in social communication, that loyalty or devotion is very important. That kind of bhakti that we see with with Modi, that is not visible, particularly I can say about Rahul. So wo bhakti mein shakti nahi nazar aa rahi hai. So unless you see the Congress gets that kind of fervor and that kind of tempo, that kind of build up, that is what will make Rahul and Priyanka click. So I think congressmen, for us, who are observing all this, we may write this that, there is a sense, there is an activity, there is some effort is there, but it will only translate if it can activate the cadre. And I keep saying, leadership issue is inconsequential in Congress, because the leadership is with the Gandhis. What they need for the great Indian middle class, who will be the prime ministerial candidate. So in that sense, Kharge doesn't inspire. Maybe if Mr. Chidambaram was there, some section of middle class would, or business houses and all, may have taken note of it. Chidambaram is coming. Does he have any future? Will he be Manmohan in time to come? So all these things, Congress and Gandhis are not answering.
And what about leader of opposition, your friend Mr. Digvijay Singh?
I think Digvijay Singh is somebody who was failed in electoral politics. It is very difficult to, that's what I'm saying, leader of the house of a political party, or for that matter opposition, is not so important, because the house meets only barely 2 months, 3 months in a year, and the parliament does not have that kind of impact which it used to have. Now social media is far more powerful. So what I'm saying is that you need to do a lot on the ground rather than what you do in parliament. So by, Kharge, Digvijay Singh, any other leader is not going to make qualitative difference in fortunes, as this hard work by Gandhis, visibility of Gandhis, and they getting their act together, they are getting, having, fire in their belly, hitting street, all these things will work.
Ashutosh, your take on, the Prime Minister's speeches, or, what is happening within the opposition? The fact that the Congress, even for a leader of opposition, they can't come up with a credible face.
No, I don't subscribe to that P. Chidambaram or Kharge should be the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, for the simple reason, because Congress problem is not the South India, but the North India. In the parliamentary election, if you get 0 in Rajasthan, you get 0 in Madhya Pradesh and other places. So that means you need somebody from the North India. But who can be the North India? If you make Digvijay Singh, I think the BJP will be hands down in 2024 and nobody can stop him, for the simple reason, because BJP will then project Congress party as a party for the Muslims. That's only for the Muslims. And then the Osama G will come back, and the Batla House will come back, and all those will come back. So Digvijay Singh, as long as the BJP is there, his political journey is very, very skewed and very, very restricted. So if Congress wants to commit suicide, can go ahead and make Digvijay Singh as a leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha. So I do not know. Maybe Anand Sharma can be one candidate over there because he's somebody who comes from the North India. But Chidambaram is good, but Chidambaram again has no social base and nothing of sort. And with the Kharge, I think Kharge is a bad speaker in that sense. He was there in the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. He couldn't speak. Today, you need somebody in the parliament who can tear apart the treasury benches like Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. What is he doing? He's doing nothing. He's making a fool of himself all the time. So if you have a choices like Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary and all of, no disrespect to Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, no disrespect to Chidambaram and Kharge, as a parliamentarian, as a leader, I have respect for them. But are these people who can take the government and tear them apart? No, they are not the leaders. So you need somebody who's fiery, like Mahua Moitra. Every time she makes a speech and then the whole world is looking at her. What is she saying? Somebody like her, but she's not in the Congress party. So you need somebody.
That's the tragedy. The Congress didn't recognize the talent. She left the Congress to join the TMC.
That's why I'm saying. And you see on the social media, Mahua Moitra's speeches is viraling like anything. Do we have somebody like in Congress party? Nobody.
We had Shashi Tharoor who's doing his best.
Shashi Tharoor again is, I don't know about his Hindi. He can be good speaker. He's a scholar. He's a well-read person, but again from South India. You need somebody from maybe if Sachin Pilot has been there, he could have been good. Jyotiraditya Scindia could have been good, but Sachin is in Rajasthan and Jyotiraditya in BJP. So you need somebody who's younger, who's got fire in the belly, who can take Modi on, who can take Amit Shah on, who's not scared of them, who's not in awe of them. I can't see anybody doing that in the Congress party, unfortunately, right now.
Nirmal, your take on this, between Azad and Modi, what happened, the leader of opposition control?
मुझे लग रहा है मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे को हम काफी अंडर एस्टिमेट कर रहे हैं. उनका लोकसभा में परफॉर्मेंस, आई डोंट एग्री विद आशुतोष ऑन दिस. लोकसभा में खड़गे का परफॉर्मेंस काफी अच्छा रहा था एज लीडर ऑफ द कांग्रेस पार्टी देयर. पर और वो
काफी, I agree with Ashutosh. There's no fire.
काफी सीनियर लीडर हैं, दलित कम्युनिटी से हैं, और एक बार कर्नाटक के चीफ मिनिस्टरशिप के लिए भी कांग्रेस की तरफ से उनका नाम प्रपोज हुआ था, पर वो बन नहीं पाए. वो एक अलग इशू है. अदरवाइज ऐसा नहीं है कि मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे कोई लाइट वेट लीडर है. मैं उससे सहमत नहीं हूँ, और उनकी हिंदी भी ठीक ठाक है. अगर आप उनको साउथ के पर्सपेक्टिव से उस हिसाब से देखें तो वो अच्छी हिंदी बोलते हैं, दक्कनी हिंदी. तो ऐसा नहीं है. और राज्यसभा में कांग्रेस के पास और है कौन? आनंद शर्मा की बात कर रहे हैं हम. आनंद शर्मा जो नेक्स्ट एक सीनियर लीडर वहां पे हैं, पर आनंद शर्मा का जो टर्म है वो भी अगले साल खत्म हो रहा है. तो कांग्रेस हर साल अपना लीडर ऑफ वहां राज्यसभा में चेंज नहीं करेगी ना. तो मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे को इसी वजह से लाया गया राज्यसभा में कि गुलाम नबी आजाद रिटायर हो रहे हैं, तो उनकी जगह वो लेंगे मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे वहां. दिग्विजय सिंह के साथ जैसा बाकी सभी, मैं भी उस बात से सहमत हूं कि उनका इमेज का उनका इश्यू है और उससे कांग्रेस को कोई फायदा नहीं होने वाला था. तो मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे अगर बनते हैं, मेरे ख्याल से उनका नाम भी गया है राज्यसभा कांग्रेस की तरफ से राज्यसभा सेक्रेटरीट को, तो वो जो अभी जो लॉर्ड है राज्यसभा में, उस हिसाब से वो बेस्ट चॉइस है. चिदम्बरम के साथ हिंदी वाली प्रॉब्लम है, वो बिल्कुल सही है. और मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे लोकसभा में उन्होंने कोई खराब परफॉर्मेंस नहीं किया था. जिस तरह का नंबर कांग्रेस का वहां था, 44 लोगों के साथ में आप कितना जो भी कर सकते हैं, वो उस समय उनकी परफॉर्मेंस मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो बहुत कोई खराब थी. इसलिए मैं इससे सहमत नहीं हूं कि मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे कोई खराब चॉइस है. मुझे लगता है अभी के हिसाब से वो ठीक है. बाकी तो फैसले तो सारे लीडरशिप किस तरह से कर रही है, क्या कर रही है. और जैसे रशीद ने भी कहा कि हाउस में किस तरह का परफॉर्मेंस है कि हाउस, क्योंकि साल भर में 3 महीने अगर आप टोटल एवरेज उसका निकालें तो उससे ज्यादा होता नहीं है. बाहर आप क्या कर रहे हैं उस पर डिपेंड करता है.
ज़्यादा depend करता है. Radhika, overall, how do you see the parliament session going? You think the government has it firmly in control, really, despite all these little interventions by Rahul?
Yeah. I mean, government firmly has it under control. I mean, those days when we used to headline stormy session and stormy proceedings and things, I think they have just kind of disappeared. And by the way, there's no dearth of issues. You had the Washington Post expose on Bhima Koregaon. Petrol prices are going up. I mean, price rise, I'm surprised, has ceased to be an issue. You know why? And somewhere or the other, the opposition has to take the rap. The thing I notice about this session is that there is no coordination in the opposition ranks. I mean, okay, Congress has registered its presence by walking out during Modi's speeches in Rajya Sabha as well as in Lok Sabha, but the other state put, the Samajwadi Party, which has an election coming up in Uttar Pradesh in less than a year, has not made any kind of impact, in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, which is pathetic. And so have the other, barring Mahua Mitra, as was rightly pointed out. I mean, she's really the star of the opposition, or at least of this particular session. I'm afraid that the opposition has just let the BJP have a complete sway. That's also because of the numbers that the BJP has and the high decibel levels in its ranks. I mean, the way they shout down anyone in the opposition, sometimes I feel you really can't blame the opposition for not making itself heard sufficiently enough. But on the other hand, I feel that had the opposition as a combined opposition had a coordinated strategy, and that it is incumbent on Rahul Gandhi and the opposition and Sonia to reach out to the others, the TMC. I mean, forget whether you're fighting with them in West Bengal or you're going to have an alliance. I mean, that can come later. But in Parliament, if you did present a united kind of picture, then maybe you could have taken on the BJP on certain issues, raised issues that would have certainly disconcerted the BJP, like price rise, Therefore, I think somewhere or the other, the opposition has to seriously start getting its act together. It's no good if individuals, give stellar performances like Mahua Mitra, or some even say that Rahul was brilliant yesterday. That doesn't really help. It has to be an effort in concert, and that is lacking in both houses.
So more coordinated and consistent attack from the opposition is really needed. Otherwise, we thought, especially in the backdrop of the farmers' protests, the government would be on the backdrop. But they presented a fairly decent budget. At least that's what the feedback has been on it. They managed the farmers' protest narrative quite well. So at the end of the day, is the opposition really being able to stop the government, at least in Parliament, or not? That's the balance sheet we're going to be looking at for. But thank you for watching this show, and all of you for coming on this. Thank you so much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.